Okay, so today I'm going to be showcasing SPFx Toolkit. So this is the first, if the slides start moving, come on, okay. This is the first out of our free, let's say, showcase demos I would like to present about SPFx Toolkit. And here we are on the first stage where I'm presenting how SPFx Toolkit now supports all of SharePoint Framework versions and most of its features. Okay, so okay, who I am Adam. I'm just a standard dev. I'm part of the PMP core team, maintain a few of the PMP products, repositories maybe use and love, and I'm not that social, but if you want to run a chat or have some question, you can always reach me out directly on LinkedIn or Discord, but either reach me out directly or ping me, otherwise most probably I will maybe be too shy to answer. Okay, anyway, let's move on. So what is SPFx Toolkit? If you didn't use it in the past, it's a VS Code extension, so it brings this additional UI layer on top of VS Code. Actually, we heavily extend VS Code, I would say, in all of its areas. Also, we are extending now Copilot chat, of course, with additional language model tools. Under the hood, we are leveraging a few of the PMP open source products like CLI for Microsoft 5 or the PMP samples. And for scaffolding, we use the same approach as Microsoft. So currently Yeoman for scaffolding new projects, generating new projects, but in the near future, we'll be using SPFx CLI. Currently working on it, and we are constantly connecting and chatting with employees from Microsoft around SPFx area. How could we improve? Where's the gap that we could introduce some kind of feature around it to help SPFx developers? So if you're doing any kind of SharePoint framework development, be sure to give this VS Code extension a try. And why you should use it? Well, at the very beginning, SPFx Toolkit was all about helping you scaffold, set up your local environment, and some learning and capabilities. Then we added some actions, which covered typical use case scenarios like granting API permissions, validating, upgrading, or validating your project correctness. Then we extended it with more and more actions and management capabilities. Now it's possible to manage your app catalogs and all your SPFx apps in any site level or tenant level, maybe one tenant level app catalog on your tenant directly from VS Code, so you don't have to switch so many times the context. And now currently, since using SPF chat AI chat participants is like, already 2 years old. So it's, of course, a thing of the past, and it's changed 10 times already in Copilot. Now language model tools and MCPs and stuff like this is the new thing. So we are moving in the same, transitioning our AI capabilities to the same direction. And now we already have a few language model tools that will allow you to upgrade Copilot. Okay, use Copilot to upgrade SPFx project. Maybe the name is not that good. Or set up your local environment and manage your sites, lists, pages directly on your SharePoint tenant. If you are logged in from this VS Code extension to your tenant, this is optional. And this is something we are working on. And the same, this is what we will be presenting today. We are working on adding support for all of the SPFx versions to most of the features of SPFx Toolkit that would require it. Okay, so prove it demo, perfect. I love this part. Let's jump to VS Code. So this is clean VS Code, my perfect state of VS Code. And when VS Code is not open in any, let's say, context of any SharePoint Framework project, then this is like the welcome experience of SPFx Toolkit. So you can log into your tenant, get those additional help information of your tenant. Those management capabilities will not cover this today, some help and feedback, and then some starting actions that will allow you to create your project from scratch or validate or set up your local global dependencies in your local environment. So currently, I am using Node 18, and I'm prepped for doing SPFx development on version of 1.18. Yeah, so I'm still that in the past. And in the past, when you used validate local setup from SPFx Toolkit, what it did, it always validate if you are prepped for the latest version of SPFx. Now it changed. Now we check, and we are actually using, of course, CLI under the hood. So if you are like a scripting kind of person, you can always see what SPFx Toolkit is leveraging under the hood. You don't have to have CLI installed to make it working. It's come as a bundle with the extension. I know I'm talking fast. I'll try to slow down. Okay, and so as you see, it said I'm ready for my SPFx version, which is 1.18. Previously, it would say, hey, for the latest version, you need to have this and this and this. We can, of course, say that we want to start with a different set of global dependencies for different versions. So as you can see, we support setting up your local environment for any SPFx version. And let's say I want to pick latest. At the very beginning, it would say, okay, you're using Node 18. We need you to use a higher version of Node and go to the Node download page and da. Okay, this experience not that nice. That's why we improved it. If you go to the settings, and which this is something we really recommend, to check out our extension settings. There are a lot of settings you can find here to make this toolkit even more your own. And currently I'm using NVM. That's why we have a setting here that we can say to SPFx Toolkit, hey, I'm using NVM as my node version manager. Please respect that. And now if I will use the setup for the latest version of SPFx, the SPFx Toolkit will say, hey, your node version is bad, but you have NVM, and we are using NVM. I can install the correct version for you already, or if there is one, I can switch to it. So this is what we'll actually do. So it's switched to the current the 22 version of Node, and they'll start installing the global dependencies that are required for this version of SPFx. Perfect. Let's avoid that for now because it will take some time. Okay, anyway, then after you set up your global dependencies, your environment is ready, you can create a new project. When it comes to scaffolding, this feature is not totally supporting all versions of SPFx yet. We are working on it. Currently, when you want to use our scaffolding form, so like the UI layer above the either SPFx CLI or Yeoman SharePoint generator, it supports the latest version of SPFx. So if you are on a later version of SPFx, you should be moving back to the terminal and scaffolding it like in the old days using the yo command or the SPFx create command. But I mean, SPFx is still in beta, so still use the yo. Scratch that, still at least as of now use the yo and wait for this SPFx CLI to be finished. Anyway, so this is something we are preparing, and this UI experience is tailored for, and all of the options it shows, it's tailored for the latest version of SPFx still. When it comes to not starting from scratch, but from some existing sample, of course, we support any version of SPFx, and let's say we can search for an older version of some web part which is present on our, I just want to point it out, you see, above 600. Yeah, there's a lot of samples, a lot of cool things that you can just kick off your new project based on. So I think it's worth even checking, even to get inspired. Okay, so here we have some list view metrics web part. I like that. We can check it directly from here. And if we are fine with this web part, we want to have our own SPFx project based on this one. This is what the SPFx Toolkit can do it for you. So I will create in the current directory I'm in a new project. I need to provide a new name, and SPFx Toolkit will download this sample from the PNP web part sample gallery and will rename this project. So it's now my new SPFx project based on this sample. It's not this sample, just download it and that's it. Okay, so now we should be in the context of some SPFx project, right? So the experience will change a bit. Of course, we have the help and feedback. Since this is an older version of SPFx, I still have, okay, so trim the manage capabilities. So I have some more view here. Since this is an older version of SPFx, I still have gulp tasks here in my present. If you will open to a newer one, if you have time, I'll show it. We'll have tasks. And we always present the NPM scripts. So these are the NPM scripts you have in your package.json. If you add more will show up here. Okay, perfect. And then we have a bunch of more actions, and those that are related to some like SPFx setting up validating are the upgrade validate, and we have a new action validate local setup for current project. So the first one, upgrade, will give us the upgrade guidance. If you want to upgrade this project to a newer version of SPFx, validate will check if my Microsoft and SPFx related dependencies in this project are aligned and are in the version that is valid for this version of SPFx. So this was 1.18.2. Those are the features that already exist. And now we have a new feature action, which is validate local setup for the current project. And what it will check if my global dependencies and my global node version is valid for the version of SPFx which is used in this project. So this is a new thing that will give you more confidence if you are if your local environment is ready. If you're using, for example, like I am now, a sample that was like for an older version of SPFx, and I want my local environment to be aligned and check if it will be okay. Okay, let's and this will work in the background, I hope. And in the meantime, Let me check what I was supposed to check. Okay. Okay, it's working slow because SPFx Toolkit in the background started the npm install. I forgot about it, and so taking up some of my memory. Okay, anyway, so since I stopped the npm install working on my project, now I think it will work smoother. And as you can see, it's already said, okay, your version of SPFx is 1.18.2. It's not compatible with your global dependencies. The first thing you need to set up is the node version. And then I can, okay, yes, set up my local environment for 1.18.2. And then it will again say, okay, we need to first set up your node. And the process will be similar, like I selected the install dependencies for this version. Okay, perfect. What else? So let's run the upgrade just to show you this experience. Also, in the previous versions of SPFx, you always got guidance for the current latest version of SPFx. So as of now, it's still 1.22.2. But now you can select any higher version than the version you are in, so to get the guidance. And then, depending on what you had set in your SPFx toolkit settings, you either get only the upgrade report. This is like the default experience. So you get the step-by-step guidance, what you need to do, manually change, or what are the npm commands you need to run if you want to upgrade. So this is jumping from gulp to heft. So this is a heavier upgrade. Or if you also in the SPFx toolkit settings, you can have either only the report or the code tour support, or both. I have both. That's why I had the report. And I also have a code tour created for me here by SPFx Toolkit, which will give me tips directly in line in code, what need to be changed and how and why. Some steps are required, some are recommended, and some are optional. So I think it's a great help. But what's also possible, now with Copilot, we don't do it ourselves, right? So as this is something I'll be presenting in the next showcase, but SPFx Toolkit comes along with, not this one, with a bunch of language model tools that allow you to manage your SharePoint tenant, but also your SPFx project, like the SPFx upgrade or setting up your local environment. And what we could do, we could directly, SharePoint Framework, mention this language model and upgrade my project to latest. I don't need to say latest SPFx version. It should know based that I mentioned this tool. Copilot should be, intelligent enough, let's say, that I'm talking about the latest version of SPFx, and we can orchestrate this using Copilot chat here in VS Code, but we can use any kind of LLM. So whatever LLM works for you, is it GPT models or cloud models or any other you're using, you can use this model, but still using language model tools we provide under the hood. It will create the same, using the same CLI for Microsoft 5, it will create the same upgrade guidance as context for the Copilot. And then Copilot will figure out the plan, what it should do to upgrade my current project to the version I selected. And as you can see, it kicked off some to-do, what should be updated for me. And to be honest, it's have some really good results, even if the upgrading from the gulp to heft. And if you are using some even not standard setup, there always is some validation step to see the install and the build. So even if you are using like an older version of PMP.js, most of the times Copilot does a good job here as well. So give it a try for sure if you are upgrading and you want something to do it for you. Okay, and the last thing, I promised I have 1 minute, so I think I should manage. If I jump to a newer version of SPFx, so this is a project I have in 1.22.2, then we see that the tasks view, if they load, 1, 2, 3. Okay, here they are, and we have half task instead of gulp. So this is the only thing I want to show. So a bunch of work done to help you work with any version of SPFx you want to work with. I hope you like this. I for sure really liked coding it. And before I finished off, thanks for watching, of course, staying here till the end. Give SPFx Toolkit a try. Check out our docs if you are interested in more features, because as you saw, there are a bunch of things SPFx Toolkit have. I just had a really short demo about a few of them. And visit our community homepage for other PMP products we develop, maintain, and go to our Discord server to connect with us. And the D is cut. Yeah, but it still hits Discord. Okay, anyway, back to you, Gary. I'm done.